Beyond Meat Factory is riddled with mold and other dirty conditions, according to leaked documents. And here's the thing, a lot of people have some really weird misconceptions about Beyond Burger. Like, these burgers aren't actually healthy for you. The amount of chemicals that are basically stuffed inside these things are potentially dangerous to you, right? According to some studies, right? But let's get right into it. One of Beyond Meat's key factories was reportedly riddled with mold, bacteria, and other health related concerns, according to leaked evidence provided by a former employee. A leaked internal document revealed Beyond Meat products manufactured at the plant had tested positive for the harmful bacteria Listeria at least 11 times in the second half of 2021 and the first half of this year, Bloomberg reported on Monday. The document was reportedly provided by a former employee who was worried about conditions in the plant, which is located within an hour of Philadelphia. Two other ex employees confirmed that bacteria had been found at the facility. The outlet also obtained internal documents stating that various contaminants, including string, metal, wood, and plastic, had been found in Beyond Meat products produced at the plant as recently as last December. Like, that's not just disgusting, that's severely dangerous. Bloomberg published photos from inside the facility that were provided by a former employee. The pictures showed what appears to be spills, unsafe use of equipment, and mold on walls and ingredient containers, according to report. Like, that is so freaking disgusting. And mold is just literally growing on the side of the wall. Mold growth takes a while. That underscores a lack of cleanliness, said Bill Marler, a food safety attorney, after viewing some of the photos. If neat and tidy is 1 and filthy is 10, I'd put this at an 8. Like, you can literally see the mold growing on the containers. Like, it's disgusting. Some mold can be seen growing on some containers in the Beyond Meat plant. One picture shows a wheeled cart that was placed upside down inside a large mixer. One food safety expert, William Madden of Whole Brain Consulting, told Bloomberg that placing a trolley that had moved around the factory floor into a mixer was essentially begging for contamination. Ooh. So, a Beyond Meat representative pushed back on Bloomberg's report, noting that inspections conducted in March and September by the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture had found no instances of nonconformance with regulations. The representative added that Beyond Meat's safety standards go above and beyond industry and regulatory standards, though the comment did not comment on the specific details from the leaked document. External third-party audits, including our most recent third-party audit in May 2022, gave the plant the highest possible rating in each of the last 3 years, the spokesperson said. And the Post has reached out to Beyond Meat for further comment. So, as recently as last year, Beyond Meat had reportedly planned to expand the facility, but the company has paused those plans as it looks to cut back on spending during a sales downturn. A representative for the Pennsylvania Department of Agriculture said the September visit mentioned by Beyond Meat wasn't a complete plant inspection, but was instead an effort to address an unpaid registration fee, which has since been paid. The report is the latest headache for Beyond Meat, shares of which have declined nearly 80% since January as demand for plant-based meats cools. And sales of refrigerated meat alternatives sold at retail plunged 11.9% for the 52 weeks ending on October 9th, according to data from IRI Worldwide. Which, by the way, I feel so bad for the people who ended up buying into Beyond Meat at its peak, because to lose 80% of your money, like 80% of your investment, is depressing. Like, it is super depressing to lose that type of money. So in October, Beyond Meat revealed it would lay off about 200 employees, or roughly 20% of its global workforce, as part of cost cutting measures. The firm also slashed its revenue guidance. Beyond Meat also parted ways with Doug Ramsey, its former chief operating officer, after he was arrested for allegedly biting off part of another man's nose during an altercation outside an Arkansas Razorbacks college football game. Yeah, the Beyond Burger, Beyond Meat, I don't know. I think people should just stay away from this whole company, honestly. Like, ew. Let's see, that's why it costs $20 a pound. Does it really cost $20 a pound? That's crazy. It goes beyond and adds mold to the recipe. I mean, who doesn't want to pay 3 times more than regular meat? Beef is what's for dinner. Now, I don't remember what the price of the Beyond Burgers or Beyond Meat was, but I do know that for some reason they put it right next to like bison meat for some reason. And like, I don't know about you, but I'd probably rather go after the bison meat than Beyond Meat. The only meat that was on the shelves during the pandemic, even when faced with starvation, nobody eats this garbage. Now, that's actually kind of funny because I do actually recall that. I recall a lot of the vegan and vegetarian types of like options were still there, sparingly, but they were still there. But like straight up, the meat aisle, like the whole meat aisle in Walmart, gone. Just gone. Which was the craziest thing to see. Because I'm talking about literally every single piece of meat just gone. Which is crazy to me. It's like people literally just bought out Walmart's meat aisle, but left the vegetarian stuff or the vegan stuff. It's crazy. I've always wondered what the H do they do to this stuff to make it meat like. The chemicals, dyes, and who knows what. Eat a mushroom burger for God's sake if you want a vegetarian option. Don't sneak this mystery meat to me. Which, by the way, I've heard that mushroom burgers are actually pretty tasty, depending on how you actually cook it. But I'd still rather have a burger. By law, a certain level of mold is allowed in dog food, which is essentially what this stuff is. My dogs make these every morning when they take dumps. Wow. Does this garbage still contain 1,000 times more female hormone than real meat? Oof. Hope that's not the case. Beyond Meat's last COO was a cannibal. This green food is soylent. Beyond Meat should spend less money on virtue marketing and more time disinfecting the filth and toxins in their plant based humane products. And here's the thing, right? I feel like if Beyond Meat 1 made their products have less damaging chemicals, because I believe on some of the studies that were done with rats that it was actually shown that a few of the chemicals used in Beyond Meat's burgers caused cancer within rats. I believe that's the case. Now, don't take my word for it. Do your own research, all that kind of stuff. But this is the problem anytime you add a whole bunch of chemicals into something and expecting it to potentially be healthy, right? And the thing is, I don't even think they can even claim that it's a healthier alternative to normal meat. Like, I don't think they can even claim that. So, you're basically paying more to eat less healthy because you have a perception that you're doing less damage to the planet, but in reality, all the chemicals that are being made are causing damage to the planet so that you could get a somewhat, in quotes, vegan or vegetarian burger because you want to feel better about it, but it does more harm than good to yourself and to the world, which is crazy. But either way, if you still want to eat it, that's up to you. is the same thing. Like the way that I view the Beyond Meat burgers is pretty much the same way that I view like cigarettes, right? If you want to eat it, if you want to smoke it, okay, go ahead and do it. Just understand that it's not necessarily going to be good for your overall health long term. Something to think about. And also, I mean, if that person what they said was correct, where it was like $20 per pound, which I don't think is that expensive, but I do think it's more expensive than bison meat. Like you're spending a good amount of money for basically less quality ingredients. So if you're trying to eat healthy on a budget, you would probably never touch this product to begin with, right? You'd probably end up going more so beef or just straight up vegan or vegetarian you can go to. I mean, I think there's like Morningstar like veggie burgers that are pretty good macros. So if you want to end up having like quick microwavable burgers, you could do that in the vegetarian sense, which is still cheaper than the Beyond Meat. So if you want to save money, you could do that. But either way, I just don't know who would really be the consumers for this type of product. Because you got to be one, having a pretty thick pocketbook or wallet to be able to afford the premium that this thing is. Because again, like I said, it's probably pretty close to bison meat, which is pretty expensive, which I think is about maybe $6 to $8 per pound, I believe. So, I mean, that adds up pretty quick. Especially if you want to eat it every day, like that could get pretty pricey really quickly. So, it's just something to think about. If you want to save money, at the very least, don't go for this product.